Alrighty, welcome back everybody. Today we're going to be sharing my top 5 baits. Now, I want to share with y'all, these are 5 baits that anybody can use on these style of hooks. We're going to start off with this hook here. That is a size 1 panfish, eagle claw. You can get a whole box of them for about $4 or $5. And we're going to start off with the size number 2 for the eagle claw. These are panfish oriented hooks. They're panfish wire hooks. They're thin. They're made to work well with panfish. I like using 1 or 2 for my top 5 baits, and the reason why I'm saying this is because if someone's a beginner out here, this whole series is for like a beginner bluegill fisherman or a person or whoever's wanting to learn more about bluegill. These baits will work phenomenal on these hooks. Coming in number 5, my number 5 top bait for bluegill is minnows. Not just any minnows. They have to be the fathead minnows. I do really well in spillways and lakes and rivers with these fathead minnows. I do catch a lot of crappie on them as well. I do catch red ear. I preferably fish these under a floater in a spillway, usually on the bottom in a lake, around some ledges or any kind of little points or anything. You do typically sometimes pick up, some smaller bass, some decent sized crappie. But if you're looking to catch a decent sized bluegill, I would suggest these fathead minnows. Medium to small size. Don't go large. Medium to small is what I prefer for bluegill. Alrighty, coming into number 4. Number 4 of my top 5 favorite bait is the old nightcrawler, good old earthworm. You cannot go wrong with a worm. These work well with a size 1 or size 2 as well. Eagle claw hook here that I showed before this, a little display. They work really well. I use this same way under a floater and spillways. Sometimes I'll fish bottom and spillways with the nightcrawler. I don't do that with a minnow. Lakes, rivers, they perform really well. And guys, it's really hard to beat simplicity. Go buy you a tub of worms and go down, find you a spot, sit down and fish, and just enjoy yourself. All right, number 3. Number 3 comes in as my good old red worms. Red worms, yes, red worms. They are fantastic. Oh yeah, there. Yeah, there you go. But anyways, most of y'all know what a red worm is and what they're smaller than a normal earthworm or European worm or Canadian worm, depending on where your nightcrawler comes from. They tend to be smaller, so the hookup ratio is a lot better typically on a bluegill with a red worm using the size 1 or 2. Preferably a size 1 is what I would use on a. It kind of depends, under a float, I would use a size 2 because it's a little bit smaller. But if I was fishing bottom with a red worm, I use a size 1. You get a little bit better hookup ratio. The worm doesn't really take up a whole lot of the worm if you decide to. It depends on how you put your worm on. If you slide it in from the head to the end, that'll work, or you can do it. Or a lot of people just hook it 1 or 2 or 3 times and then let it dangle in the action of it in the water. That's what I like to do with my red worms. They really work really well. Spillways, I fish bottom with them under a float. About the same as I do as a nightcrawler. Number 2, coming in the number 2 spot here. Here we go. We are going to be talking about waxworms. Waxworms. They're actually wax moth is what they're really called, or something like that. Moth something. I'll put it up here. Waxworms are very versatile. You catch everything on a waxworm. I've caught catfish, bluegill, crappie, bass, trout, crawfish, white bass, yellow bass. The list goes on. But we're talking about bluegill. I'm sorry, I got distracted. But yeah, coming in number 2, it's waxworms. I love using waxworms. They're versatile. Use them everywhere. Fish bottom, top. They're cheap. You can carry them around in your pocket. You can carry them around. If you're wanting to go light tackle, you pack everything in one pocket and just go. You don't have to keep them cold. They're pretty versatile. You can take them out when it's 100 degrees outside. They'll still be okay. But you want to try to keep them in the shade. You don't want to stick them directly in the sun, but they do really well. I fish them pretty much the same way as I do red worms and night crawlers. I fish them on underneath floaters, bottom, top. I like targeting around rocky areas with waxworms, especially get some of those. If you're targeting some of those little rock bass or something like that, they work really well around rocks and structure as well. Or we're talking about bluegill. Sorry. Like I said, I get distracted so easily when I talk about fishing because I just love fishing. So, but yeah, white worm comes in number 2 for me. I love it. And, you know, kids can use them. They're easy to hook. They're easy to keep alive. They're cheap. You know, you get 1,000 of them or 1,500 of them for like 20, 30 bucks off of Amazon or eBay. But yeah, that's my number 2 bait. Number 1, my favorite bait is crickets. Yes, crickets are my number 1 favorite bait for bluegill, just about any panfish. I love using crickets. Crickets are very versatile. Bluegill love them. It doesn't matter if it's winter, fall, summer. It doesn't matter. They're going to smack a cricket. I've been using crickets since I was younger. I've been using them more here lately, more than usual. Usually, I'll just go buy a tub of night cars. A tube of crickets and take with me, and that's all I'll take sometimes. And I will clean house. It doesn't matter where I go or where I fish. They do really well. I think it's mainly because they're a natural bait, and the colors really work well, especially in, you know, the cricket. You know, the colors of the crickets really works well with different water types. It's very versatile. It will work in clear water, muddy water, murky water. You know, and typically how I hook it is I'll hook it through the head and out the back, or the back through the head. Now, crickets, on the other hand, they're a little bit softer than a red worm and a nightcrawler. Typically, if you don't catch them on the first hit or second hit, it's gone. That's the downfall with the crickets. Typically, with 1 or 2 hits, and that bad boy is gone. I mean, it ain't even there no more. But it's very versatile. Fish at top, bottom, however you want to. And but yeah, there's my top 5 baits. Alright, there's my top 5 baits. Y'all let me know what's your favorite bait that you like to use. I'm sure there's different areas. Everybody has different opinions and different baits they like to use. These are the main ones you're probably going to see here on my channel this year for fishing for bluegill. I don't typically use a whole lot of artificial baits or lures or anything. I do have some other stuff on the channel where I did live crickets versus fake crickets. I used some other stuff, and that was fun. We'll probably do some more of those, or unless y'all got a suggestion. But yeah, that's going to be my video for today. There's still no fishing just yet. We went from 70 to 80 degrees down to 33, and it was snowing first day of spring. Yeah, what about that? But I'm going to end this video here today, and y'all let me know what your favorite baits are, and if my top 5 are some of your favorite baits. But I'm going to end this video here today, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye, y'all.